Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 137. Now this week has been a week of two halves. The first half, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, I did absolutely no hobby. I was tired, I was not feeling well, and I was focusing every energy I had on working on 20. And then since then, I have tried to do regular hobbying, but mostly I've been focusing on the battle games and Middle Earth builds that I've got to get finished because I'm actually travelling next week. Not the week after this one, fortunately, but the week after next, and that will put me up against the deadline quite tightly, so I need to get them finished if I can before I go away. So yeah, it's been a good week, a fun week, but probably not quite as much on this vlog as to show us how much work I've done on the hobbying, because I've done loads on Battle Games Middle Earth, but you've got all that to look forward to in another video anyway. So yeah, I am making progress. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. I love reading all your comments. I do reply to them all, so don't be shy. It makes me very much motivated to keep these going, and when I have comments, so do let me know what you think. I will shut up now in my introduction. I will let you enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you again at the end, and thank you very much for watching. Well, I've not touched this for a week. Life has been crazy. I'm going to get back to it now. I've actually not done any hobby for days at all, full stop, which is very unusual for me. So what we've got here is I've got some samplers. You can see I'm going to need to give that one a shake because it's a bit watery. So I've got like a bright orange. I've got my white chocolate, which I used a lot in on the Western stuff. And I've got another kind of more pinky one. That's the white chocolate, and I've got another more pinky one. And so what I'm going to do is I've given that a shake. probably turned the muted the sloshing noises. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of these paints to add some more colours to the stonework. I really want to make this quite interesting. I'm not wanting to follow any kind of like traditional painting guide for doing this sort of stone. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to do something just a little bit different and a little bit more kind of like bright in places and dark in places and what have you. So yeah, so let's go ahead with the orange. And what I normally do because I'm a clumsy clot who drops things all the time, is I will shake the lid, and then you can see we've got some paint on the lid that I can use, and I can put that right out of the way. So I'm not going to knock it with my elbow. So there's the top tip. Paint lids are very good for accepting, for having some paint in them to give you the access to be able to do this. So there's a lot of steel and what have you on this, which is eventually going to get picked out with proper hobby paints, because yeah, I'm not going to try and do that. I've actually not got silver or any metallics that aren't hobby paints. So don't worry too much if you go over those when you're doing this sort of thing, because we're obviously going to be bringing this back down with some, you're going to be picking them out properly. But yeah, I'm going to just basically paint over the whole thing with this colour, and then I'll do the next colour, and then I'll do the next colour. And what I will end up with, hopefully, is quite an interesting hodgepodge, a mismatch, and all those interesting words of different colours that you would potentially find in a very, very old building. But it's not grey, because yeah, grey's boring, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just going to get on with this. I'll put some music on, and you can watch as this develops in lots and lots of different colours. Alright, so in true beard clipper style, I'm going to do something here without having tried it first. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, then you'll watch live as I fail. So you can see I've got myself my straight edge, my bubble level, and I've wedged it at the far end so that it is flat, basically directly flat, going across the top of where I want to have this little jetty. And this is going to mean that I'm going to be able to make sure that what I'm doing is definitely going to go above the water line. What I've got here is a packet of matchsticks with no ends, just from the hobby shop, and here barbecue skewers, classic. So what I've realised is that I actually need to assemble this not in place and be able to lift it out and then paint it and wash it water and what have you, and then come and stick it down again in place, because I don't want to be putting like wood stain or have you and having it spoiling the rock texture I've got here. So that's why I've got this kind of like Heath Robinson setup to try to make sure that what I can do is I can assemble a jetty which is going to start here and is going to go in a line. There's going to be an angle away. It's not going to be straight to the shore. It's going to go from roughly here to roughly there. So my plan is, and this is now going to make a little bit of noise, so I'll just fast forward this bit. Right, there we are. So my plan is, as I say, to have the barbecue skewer act as a as the side. So I'll have one barbecue skewer here, and you can see that that's going to be roughly flat. And then I'll put another barbecue skewer next to it. It's not quite long enough, interestingly enough. So I might need to bring this a little bit further across to get this to balance out. And then what I'll be doing is I will be gluing these legs to the barbecue skewer. And that will basically, and I'll probably have to get a pencil and mark exactly where it's gonna start. But that then will give me, so I have a leg here and a leg here and a leg here and a leg here, and it will be up and down, and it will give me a I can put it in place and set it back down onto these contours, and hopefully it will look fine. Because what I'll do is I'm going to do the legs, and then I'm going to put a couple of cross beams as well, just to kind of keep it at the width I want roughly. And for that I think I'm going to need to use tongue depressors or coffee stirrers, because I want it to be slightly wider than these, so I'll have to get some coffee stirrers, and then I'll be able to lift the whole thing off, go and paint it, and then bring it back. So anyway, that was a bit of a complicated way of explaining it. I'm going to give it a go. I'm probably going to leave the camera on, and I'll put some music on, and we'll see how it works. But yeah, as I say, I've got a plan. Let's see if it works. So the first thing is I don't actually know exactly. I may need to do one side and then move this over here and then do the other side. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to just do the legs. So anyway, let's see how this goes. Here comes some music. I think that's worked okay for that side, and I think I've changed my mind a little bit of how I'm going to do it. You can see it standing up on its own, which is really cool. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it to the bench and stain that side, and then get that side glued in right away. And then what I'll do is I will come along and I will build the other side and do the same thing. stain and then glue that in. But once I've got this in place, because then I can measure across, and I'm pretty sure looking at that I'm going to need some slightly longer uprights as well, so I'm going to do that another time. And then I'll have both the sides in place, and what I'll do is I'll stain a load of planks, and then I'll come along and glue them in place once both things are done. So I think that's going to be the best way to do it. It's a little bit fiddly, a little bit not secure at the moment. I am considering tying some string around the contact points. I think that would make a lot of sense as well. But yeah, so, and also obviously there's going to be some trimming need to be done, certainly on the far two. I'm going to need to trim. I'll probably leave the front two how they are, but probably take a little bit off of the second one in, and certainly a lot off of the far one. But yeah, that went okay. So hopefully I will be able to do the next one as successfully. And what I'll do is I'll show you how I do the staining now and what have you, and then we'll just do all of the just do the other side off camera, and then we'll come back for when we're about to start laying the planks. The other thing to add is I'm going to add some more stuff under the water around here. I have a huge pile of chicken bones which I dried for a video a long time ago now, which was just sat in a box, so I'm going to make use of those and put some of those around. And secondly, I had a suggestion from one of my regular viewers, Chris, who said why not put a sunken boat and some lost boxes and what have you. Now I have thought about how I've got a sunken boat, but I decided not to put it in for various reasons. But having some detritus underneath the old jetty sounds really good. So I'll be putting some barrels and some boxes, and maybe even cutting them in half so they look like they're like buried in mud or whatever. And I will be putting those in underneath as well. So yeah, I've got some really cool ideas. And then it'll be back to the resin pour. I'll tell you what, the most nervous thing I've got at the moment is removing the dam, because I really hope that it actually does come away from the resin without causing me too many problems. But anyway, that's one for the very far future. Let's get this stained. I will show you how I'm going to do that very shortly. Alright, so this is glued really nicely. I've snipped the tops off as I said I would. So what I'm now going to do is make use of this watered down reddish brown paint to put a first stain on the wood. So it's going to be a couple of coats, and I'm going to be making it look old and not very good, but I think this colour is the colour that I want to start with. So just a small soft brush, paint it on, try not to get it too lumpy, try and spread it around. Quite a thin coat, I don't want it to be too strong a brown. So yeah, get that done, and then we'll pick another colour. Oh, and I've remembered I need to snip off the end. I forgot to do that. I don't want a spike on the end, do I? So let's just come along here with my strong scissors and pong! No idea where that went. Right, so I'll get this painted up. As I say, might take a couple of coats to get to the brown base I want. When that's done, I'll let you know how many coats, and I will bring you on to the next step as well, which will be the next colour. I am also going to do this carefully, so I'm not actually going to paint the back until this side is dried. I do not want this sticking to the cooling rack that I use to keep it supported. So I'll just paint this, let this dry, and then come along, do the other side, let that dry, and then see if I want to do another coat. So yeah, there we are, that's done. I will bring you along when I've got something new to show you. It's just going to be a lot of that for the next little while. Okay, so I took 3 or 4 coats of the glue, but you can see that's now pretty solid. So what I'm now going to do is come along, and I've got these tufts that I'm going to put in a few places around the base of the bushes, and in a few other places. So I won't film all of it because it'll be a lot of repetitive stuff. These are the awesome ones from Serious Play. I really like their tufts. Of course, I'm not sponsored, so I'm not just saying I'm not saying that because they're telling me to. They don't know I exist apart from when I place an order. So yeah, so what you do for those is you get them up with your tweezers, dunk them in some PVA. Do not rely on the self-adhesive to keep it in place, and then drop it in where you want it, like that. And that's how you place tufts. Now these ones are particularly big, so they're a little bit complex to put in, so I'll do one more to show a little bit of a better result than I got there. So let's go for one of these darker ones. So yeah, pull it out. I've got like 5 there together. Now they are super adhesive, as you can see. I've stuck those to my finger. This is why you use your tweezers to pick them up, otherwise they will stick to you, and then you come along and press them in, and there we are. So I'll make use of that one that came loose as well. So yeah, I'm going to just put these on, nice big splashes of colour, making it a little bit more interesting. I'll bring them up when it's done, show you the next step. Next up is a 2-stage process. So I've got this, which is tree foliage, like leaves that I don't really like very much. So I'm going to put some of that on, just dump some of my terrain glue on. This is being done straight after the previous application, so the tufts are still wet, but that's fine. I'm not going to put this everywhere, but I'm going to put patches of it like this. And then once I've finished doing that, I'll bring you back, and what I'll be doing is I will be putting on what I call Easter foliage, which is this stuff. It was bought out of the Easter aisle. I bought a bucket of it 4 years ago and I've barely touched it. I use it a lot, but it just goes a long way. So yeah, I'm not going to run out of that anytime soon. So anyway, I will bring you back when I come to that, and that's going to build up some of the height of the underneath. Don't know if you can tell what I'm going for, but basically it's going to be quite a overgrown bit of jungle with this scary dead tree. Or is it dead? Is it eating people? So yeah, I'll build that up and bring it back when I come to do the foliage. And this is going to need to be locked in place with another coat of the watered down PVA once it's dried, which is why I'm doing it all at once, because it all needs to be sealed, so I may as well get it done at once. So in a few minutes I'll bring you back and show you how I'm going to stick this stuff down, which I really do like. Well, there we are, and I just had a bit of inspiration. I'm going to make use of these chicken bones that I dried a while back to just add a little bit of kind of fear and intrigue to the scene. So just glue those in place there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start to put this stuff in, which is going to give me the height, like I say. So I'm going to put it in places. So let me see, I don't want to get too much in the camera. I'm going to put it in places like here. So excuse the terrible positioning of the glue bottle, but we're going to lump a dollop of glue in there, and this will need to be soaked and soaked and soaked and soaked and soaked, but it will dry, and what you then have is this really nice tangle, as you can see, of weeds and undergrowth. So we're going to come in here. Again, terrible positioning of the camera. Such a pro me. Pull out a tuft and get to it before it drops. There we are, just caught it, and then squish it in. And like I say, once that's dried, I'll come along with loads of PVA and I will seal that all down. So I'll get the rest of it done. I'm probably not going to put too much more on. I'll get the other bits done that I'm going to add on, and I'll bring it back and show what it looks like when I am about to seal it. Hobbying in the summer is great because things dry really fast. So I've only done one coat actually, and I'm actually pretty happy with how it looks. And what I'm going to do now is come along with this green. These are all also PVA and glue and water mixed together. And I'm going to just like lightly put them on. This is quite a bright green, and I've got a darker green there, just to make it look a little bit kind of squatty and what have you. This probably is a process that I will do again when it is on the display, because this is a very small amount of paint. It's not going to drip or cause any problems, or if it does, it'll be just so little. It's not painting, not going to cause an issue. So I'll probably do a little bit more of this once it's on the actual display. But for now, just going to very, very carefully put these greens and what have you on, like this. And then when that's dry, which won't take long, I will go and we'll stick it in place, and then I'll start making the other one. And then yeah, making good progress. It's turning out alright this so far. Against all the odds, obviously I'm only right early in the attempt. But yeah, let's get that to dry, see how it looks. I'll bring you back for the next step very shortly. Right, now comes the fun part. So I've got myself a dropper, and you can see that I've got some paper down, old newspaper down, and I am going to liberally scatter over the entirety of this. And this is only the first time, I'll do this multiple times. I'm going to basically cover this in PVA. Now, what you can do is, let me get my other dropper and my 99% alcohol, because you'll notice that's going on quite droppy. So if I drop 99% alcohol over this and then do the glue, it will soak in and do a much better result. So put some alcohol on. Gonna need some more in my little pot. It's like the magic ingredient this for doing this work, alcohol. There we are, give it a good soaking with alcohol. And then come along with your glue. And when you drop it on, it will soak in. Isn't that magic? So I'm going to do that, get that finished around the whole piece. As I've said, I'll probably have to do this more than once. I'll let you know how many times I have to do it. And then we'll come on for the final couple of steps. So this is going to be incredibly hard to film, but I'm going to try and do it anyway. I've put the side of the jetty in place here, and what I'm going to do now is basically get it into exactly the right position that I want it, and then with it leaning up against this straight edge to make sure it's flat. So I don't really want it out of skew. So there we are, that's now flat, and then I've got some PVA to glue it in place. Now, one of the legs is actually riding up a bit there, I don't know if you can see that, so I'm going to pile some stones around that, but I'm going to glue it in place front, middle and back first. So what we'll do is we will put a dollop of glue at the base of each, like that. Now make sure it's in place just with my finger. I should have brought a brush really, but never mind. There we are. And then what I'll do is I'll leave it like that to dry. Way too much glue. Next one, I will bring a brush and I will only I'll put some glue onto a plate, and then only put down the glue I need. But I'm going to leave that now. That will then stick in place, and what I'll then do is put a little bit of grouting around the base again. I'll bring you back for that, and then I'm also going to start working on the other side once that's glued in place. But yeah, progress. I'm really pleased with how that is. Hi, I am your original Prusa i3 printer. Would you like me to guide you through the setup process? Would you look at that? For weeks I've been scared of doing this, plugging that in, it's in over there, and turning it on. Because I did the wiring, I expected it to go poof and die. And I was just sat at work, I sat at my desk and I thought, you know what, there is no time like the now. So I've done it. So I'm not going to go through the setup process now. I don't have time, I've got to go back to my desk and work. But that was probably the biggest fear I had. Now of course I am also scared of setting it up, but I'll bring you along when I do come to that. But I've turned it on and it didn't blow up. So now I'm going to turn it off and hope that when I turn it back on again, I get this lovely friendly message once more, and it can guide me through the process, because I'll hopefully have some time. And I might try and get to that today, because I really would like to print something for Rosie. That was why I've got it really, is for printing things for her for outside, and also for the swimming pool, which is going to be up soon. So got a few things to print, but first we'll need to set it up. But I've turned it on. That's the first step, isn't it? Giving it power, and there was no big bad bang. Well, I'm really happy with how this is looking. I think that's going to be where I'm up to for now. What I'm going to do is a little bit off camera. I'm going to do my normal paints, so my Vallejo paints, and I'm going to pick out all these bits of metal in gunmetal grey probably, all these spikes. Then I'm going to paint the vines with green and brown, and then I'll paint the trees at the back as well. So I'm just going to go and paint those, and I won't run the camera because that's just painting, and then we'll come back and do the finishing up. We're not far off. It's got a bit of flocking and a little bit of dust and weathering to do, but yeah, really happy. I might put a little bit more grey. I might dull down some of those bright colours if it annoys me, but for now I'm really happy, so I'm going to leave it how it is. We'll see how it grows on me if I do decide to add a little bit more muting to the current brightness. But yeah, going to go and do the normal painting, and I'll show what it looks like when it's done. So I actually haven't painted for quite a long time. I had a couple of days off with sickness and other reasons, but I'm back and I've pretty much done all of the basic colours. I've got a few bits and pieces to do. What I'm going to do now though is I'm going to paint the guns, and I've got lots of guns to paint on these, so let's get to it. So the first colour I'm going to use is flat brown. So that is a really good colour for the wooden parts. So give that a good shake. There we are. It's a nice rich brown. It's not too dull. I quite like it. It really does help to pick these out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on just one miniature on camera, and then I'll do the rest off camera, because I will do all of the brown one and then all of the gunmetal, which is my next colour. I'll do that. I'll do them all. Do all the brown and then all the gunmetal. I'm just trying to get this to focus. So the thing with this is the bottom of this, I believe. No, this is a shotgun. I'm not sure. Or is this a double barreled? I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if I picked the right one. That's double barreled. Let me see if I can find a better one. Let me do the handles. Do the handles of the hatchet, because it's basically going to be the same thing. So, but handles of the hatchet and the handles of the guns are going to be done in the brown. And then the blades and the gun barrels will be done with gunmetal, which I prefer. I really like gunmetal for most of my metal painting. That's just how I just really like the way it looks. So you can see that it's just a case of filling in these bits. Try not to leave any undercoat showing, the primer, and then on these you've got a little dot at the end as well. There we are. So I will do all of the wood like that, and then just clean my brush, and then we'll use gunmetal grey. And what I will do the gun this time, and I use gunmetal quite a lot, like I say. It's a really good metal, really good metallic from Vallejo. Really like it. So here we have this dude, and so that's all going to be gunmetal grey. And I think the brown is going to be back here, just above his hand. That's what I'm thinking. But I will look a little bit closer when I'm not filming. Probably would have been a better idea to work that out before I turn the camera on. But there we are, that's painted silver. So I'll do the rest of these, and then I'll be touching up. I don't know if you can see on that, but I've actually missed the back of his hand. So that needs to be painted. Just here, needs to do his shoes. There's a few bits and pieces I've missed, but largely they're in a really good shape. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now, my 22 minutes. Let's get cracking. Friday night, end of a tough week, so I'm sat at my desk on the balcony watching some cycling and getting on with 2 different battle games of Earth builds. This is a super early sneak peek. It'll be a couple of months, 3 months before this one comes out. Nearly finished on that. I've also got the next month's one, the one that's going to be in a couple of weeks. This will probably be quite bright, but I just figured this shot, because the sun is setting over there, do a quick panorama. This is why I love sitting up here. I sit out here every summer. Look at that view, absolutely stunning. Really, really lovely. And the sun is setting behind me. So yeah, so I'm just going to chill out. I'm really tired. Friday nights are very tired. I get exhausted by the end of the week. So I'm just going to sit. I'm doing the hot wire cutter, watching the cycling. 27.4 kilometres to go on today's Tour of Slovenia stage. Watched a bit of it with Rosie and Angelo during dinner, finishing it off now. And then I'm going to go to bed. There I am in the mirror, in the window. Oh yeah. So yeah, just thought I'd show off a little bit what I'm doing tonight. It's been a very busy week for doing battle games in Middle-earth and not so much of other builds, but still having fun with my hobbying and loving sitting up here and being able to hobby on my balcony is just the best thing. So still out on the balcony. Yesterday I had a delivery. I was way too tired to even open the boxes. So here they are, 2 boxes. They're both Kickstarter games. So we'll start with the first one here, which I did get to unwrap and have a look at, but then I just put it away. And this is, so I already had On Mars. This is On Mars Alien Invasion, which has a bunch of solo versions. Basically, it's a mainly solo version of On Mars, which is pretty cool. So we've got some wooden tokens, which also always makes it a little bit nicer to play. I'm not going to go into the box in this. I'll do an unboxing on another video. I'm just way too busy to go into as much depth as I normally do. That's a card separate, not sure why. And then here we have On Mars, Alien Invasion. Alert, sensors indicate that aliens are invading the red planet. So yeah, I believe this is basically mostly solo play. You will play 1 versus many completely cooperatively and even solo if you wish, depending on the chapter. So yeah, so it's basically an expansion for On Mars, which I still haven't got to the table. But actually I lie, I got it to the table, looked at it, and went, that was a nice setup, and then put it away again, because it took me about 2 hours to get it set up. So maybe that might mean I actually might play it a little bit more often. Sorry about the mess in the background. This is our table that we eat at the moment. So now, this one hasn't even been opened, as you can see, so let's get the old knife on it and cut the sellotape. A real live unboxing. And this is, we have a mat, SSO. So this is another game. Apologies if you can hear the grinding in the background. There's a lot of building going on in the village at the moment. SSO, Rage of Montalbano. Right, I will do another unboxing of this another time, like I've said on the other one. Just too tired right now, got lots to get on with. We've got stats of cards. Your sacrifice is appreciated. So I don't know what that is. We'll get into it. Story elements, death, insanity. Huh. And then the one thing that I will, which is much smaller than I expected. Thought there'd be more to it than that. The Art of SSO. So let's get into this and give it the old sniff test, because yeah, I'm not too tired to smell a new book, am I? You all know me. The Art of SSO. Doesn't that look superb? Right, here we go. That is a beautiful smell. It's a bit wonky, the binding, but beautiful smell. So there we are, SSO. So two games, hopefully, maybe. You never know, I might actually even play them one day. I will do a proper unboxing of both, maybe during the vlog next week, maybe a standalone video, not sure. But for now, that's what I got. Pretty happy with it. Glad they arrived. I'm going to go and mark them as received now on Kickstarter, so that they know that they've been received. And then I'm going to pop them in my shelf and probably leave them there for quite a long time. That's what I do. So there you are. Now let's talk deadlines. And this week, by Friday, because I fly on Saturday, I need to finish at least 1, if not 2 battle games in Middle-earth builds. I need to finish the TCU challenge because it needs to be entered before I get back from the United Kingdom. And I also need to finish painting up those High Noon starter box set figures. And the problem there is that this week I've been terrible at my painting habit. I have painted maybe 2 or 3 times in the entirety of the week since last Sunday, and that is not good enough. I need to do it every day because it's a really good habit and I really enjoy it. But hey, I'm not beating myself up too much because that is life, but I'm going to try and be better this week. I'm going to have to be, otherwise I won't get those finished in time, and therefore a little friendly challenge to be finished by the end of the month, and I just need to get them done. Oh, and I obviously also need to finish my bust, but that's very, very close, so that won't take very long. So I've got a lot to do in the coming week, and then it will be a little bit of a quieter one the week after. I will be back in time to do a little bit of hobbying. I won't be missing a vlog or anything like that, not this week, well, not next weekend and not the weekend after, so there won't be a missed vlog. But I'm going to have to be really focused and hopefully healthy this coming week so I can crack on and get everything done. So I hope you've enjoyed this video anyway. It is half an hourish, which is more than I expected it to be, but as I say, most of my hobby time this time around has been Battle Games in Middle-earth or Tawny, working on the software. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do say hello. Thank you for watching very much. As always, thoughts go out to anyone who is impacted directly or indirectly by the horrible war in Ukraine. Just heart goes out to you all. And please do, everyone, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.